Well, now I'd like to bring up our mayor, Jeff Bauknight. You know, let me tell you about the chamber and the city. We have a really good relationship with our elected officials in Victoria. And I like it that the mayor is accessible, the city council is accessible. They'll talk to me. They'll listen to what I have to say, whether or not they agree with me from time to time, whether I'm speaking as an individual or as the Chamber of Commerce. But the nice thing is that they are great people to work with, and I like the accessibility. And we couldn't have any better city council and mayor and city administration than we do right now with everything that's going on in our community. So we don't have to give Mayor Bauknight a whole bunch of recognition. His dad calls me Little Jeff, and Mayor Bauknight is now Big Jeff, and I don't know if I like the term, but that's what I got for right now from Jeff's dad. And so right now, I would like to introduce our mayor, Jeff Bauknight.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm trying to find out who his barber is just to get the rest of this hair off. Welcome. Thanks so much for being here today. Listen to the State of the City address. I want to thank the Chamber for hosting this event and the city staff that's really gone out of the ordinary to get this all pulled together. Some of the stuff you see on the tabletops were printed at the library with the 3D printer, just fantastic. And I don't know if y'all saw coming in also the little model of the public safety headquarters. The library also took it upon themselves to print that in-house as well. So it's really neat what they're able to do. And thank you for the time and effort to get all this pulled together. And so last year when we spoke about State of the City, kind of focused on everyday tasks that the city staff do and do a great job of every year, and how it builds up at the end of the year. And we went through, number of potholes filled and how many calls the police and fire do. This year we're just going to talk about projects and collaborations and initiatives that we have for this year. First, I'm going to go through a little bit of, thanks for everybody. It's a little tricky. See if this will work. You know what? I am an ag. You had to turn it on. All right. This is our city council. You got Ricky De La Garza, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker. You got Miss Jan Scott, Dr. Andrew Young, and Mr. Mark Longoria. I got to say thank you to all these. That said Mark Longoria. Mark Lofgren. Sorry, Mr. Lofgren. Sorry about that. These individuals, y'all should be very proud of your city council. They work very hard. It's not just a meeting once or twice a month. It's work throughout the week. They serve on many boards and really appreciate the time and effort that they put in. It's a very experienced city council. It makes it very easy to work together, and I appreciate all their camaraderie and good discussions that we have. And it's nice to be able to talk openly at city council with them, and even offline when we get the opportunity. And we enjoy each other's company, which I think is very important. Also, our executive leadership team, I want to thank them as well. Try to get everybody's name right this time. Jesus Garza is our city manager. Allison Lacey is our city attorney. We have Mike Etienne and Derek Farrell as our assistant city managers. And Gilbert Rainier is our chief financial officer and keeps us in line. And so we'll start and follow Mr. Rainier's good work here. This was amazing to me this year. Our balanced budget this year for the city of Victoria is a quarter of $1 billion, $255 million. And typically what we think of when we think about budget are the general fund, which is the $59 million. And then we have our construction fund this year, which is really inflated with the public safety headquarters building, but $102 million in construction projects this year, which is a phenomenal amount of work that we'll be doing. The other funds are like a utility fund. That's our wastewater and water funding, and that's enterprise fund, so it doesn't take any extra taxes. There's also some other little small funds that make up the difference you can see there. And also on your table, you'll see the budget highlights deal, and all this is in there as well too, if you want to take it home with you. Share it with your family. This is the wheel that goes through our general fund, a $59 million general fund. The outer portion of the wheel is the part that shows the income that's coming into the city for the general fund. People are always wondering about property taxes, and none of us like to pay them, but they are, necessary evil to run the government. But 35% of our income, a little over $19 million, made up of the property tax. The other major contributors are sales tax. That's why we focus so heavily on retail growth in the city of Victoria, because it does contribute over a third of the income to the city. And I always point this out every year. The property tax, $19.44 million, does not even cover our public safety services. That's municipal court, fire, and police. So that makes up, on the expense side, 57% of the expenses in the general fund. At $33.85 million, is up about $1.5 million from last year. So we continue to invest in our public safety, and I think that's very important. And I know everybody here joins me in thanking the police officers each and every day, and the firemen that take care of us and keep us safe. Property tax, as I said, none of us like paying for it, but over the last 3 years, City Council has voted tax decreases in the amount of 20% since 2021. So this year our tax rate is 0.4998, so just under half a cent. And we continue to look for ways to always reduce this, and one of the ways we do it is by generating economic development in the city and putting more items on the tax rolls, so it lowers the burden for everybody. This is our capital improvements project funding, and this is the overall for the past 9 years. And you can see that light blue color there. It's the public safety headquarters building. You can see that we continue to invest in the city going forward. And I asked them just to kind of take out that so we can see just year over year what we're typically looking at, with the gray being the utilities. The thoroughfares are in Aggie maroon, and I don't know what that color is for residential. Don't recognize it. We'll get that changed for next year, though. Last year we spent very heavily on utilities, and that's because we got to get those utilities done beneath all those residential roads, and so the residential roads take this stage this year because the utilities were completed last year. And we just boil it down in this one just to the last 4 years, so you can see the continued increase in infrastructure in our city. So I want to say it's like $73 million over the last 3 years that we've spent on roads. So I know we can't build them fast enough, but that is a great investment by the citizens of Victoria in our roads, and we continue to pour money into them each year. These are the specific projects, and these are listed in that handout as well for the residential roads, $27 million this year. And we continue to go, and we're going to meet our goal of doing 112 miles a year every 5-year period. So that represents a 50% increase of what we were doing, but we're going to take care of 112 miles of roads, whether it's reconstruction, mill and overlay, or if we're even doing chip seal type of work, but maintenance and all the way to reconstruction, 112 miles a year. Thoroughfares this next year, you can see that list there, $7.1 million. A lot of mill and overlays. Everybody seems to really like those. They provide a really smooth ride. You can see it on Mockingbird in sections. Portions of John Stockbauer we've gotten done from Airline to Business 59. The rest of John Stockbauer will pick up in 25, so it won't be this next year. We still have $11.7 million in utility projects coming up this next year. We continue to invest in the future in our ASR well. That's aquifer storage recovery. So we take water from the Guadalupe when it's flowing well, treat that water and inject it into the aquifer. It stores in the aquifer, creates a little bubble, and so in times of drought we're able to withdraw that water out of the ground to supplement our water supply. So we continue to invest in new ASR wells when we have the money to do so, and it's a long-term project, so in 15 years people are really going to be able to take the benefit of that program. I'll get into that SCADA project in just a minute. SCADA is just the way that we control water and wastewater operations. It's just the control system. The LED street lighting program this year, we got another $250,000 to finish updating the rest of the lights, and I'll show you a map of that in a minute. And then of course the public safety building, as we've discussed, and I got a lot of slides on that, almost $46 million this next year to get that project really rolling. We're very fortunate to receive $19.5 million from the GLO, Texas General Land Office. Ms. Solis and Mr. Lofgren worked very, very hard on this. If y'all see them after this, always thank them because they put a lot of time and effort to make sure that Victoria got its share of this money that's going out to the entire region. They got us almost $20 million. $20 million sounds like a lot until you look at some of these projects. We only have 3 projects we're going to spend it on. Lone Tree Acres Drainage has really been needing to take care of that area. So we'll put in some new drainage ditch down there and stop those neighborhoods from flooding in that area. Public Safety Headquarters, that'll be inside the new Public Safety building, but this will be a portion of the money we can use to harden that facility so that any Category 3 hurricane it can withstand. And we can continue on with the 911 dispatch center where we haven't been able to do that in the past. It's had to go move to the Emergency Operations Center, and it's not at full capacity during the hurricane, so it'll be a great deal going forward for us, a great improvement. And then the SCADA, which is the control system that controls our water and wastewater throughout the city. We'll upgrade that whole system. I think it's been over 20-something years since we've upgraded that system. A lot of this stuff is hard to get parts for now, and so that's a $6 million project for us. And then we have initiatives that we're working on this next year. And we have a sports facility assessment that we're getting ready to bring to City Council. And this is just going to look at our sports facilities once again. We haven't really had a major sports facilities improvement since the youth sports complex. And that's been almost 15 years ago that bond passed. That was a sales tax revenue bond. And it's heavily used now by the community, and everybody really enjoys it. But we want to take a holistic approach to look at the adult softball complex, the youth, the soccer fields that we now have. Just make sure that we're headed in the right direction and make any improvements in the future that we need to make for the community. Also, the active transportation master plan will be started, and that active transportation master plan is more around bike trails, hiking trails, interconnectivity of some of our walking trails, and just make sure that we have a plan forward also to make sure that it's walkable and bikeable and make the community a better place to live. Community center one, nothing's happened in the community center major renovation wise really since 2001, I believe is correct. And so we're going to look at it and see how we can better utilize this facility, look at it and see if we can add an arena. I know Neil Stevenson would wholeheartedly agree with improving this facility as much as you've worked in this building. So we're hoping to have some great ideas come of this master plan and improve this building that we're sitting in today. And then as part of the ARPA funding, we had discussed this last year. We're going to look at the zoo and see how we can help them with their facilities and make some improvements over there as well. This is another one of our initiatives. We kicked this off last year, and real shout out to this goes to 2 students, Emily Dickinson and Katie Jane Kopecki. They came to me last year and asked if they could start a mayor's youth council. And to be honest, I told them I didn't have a lot of bandwidth in my time to get rolling on it, but I would support them in anything that we can do to get it going. And they took it upon themselves to get applications to all the schools, to get juniors and seniors signed up. And it's a way to get the youth in the community, and it's juniors and seniors of any high school in our area, to get them involved in local government. But also we've been fortunate that we've had Representative Morrison come speak to them so they get a flavor for how state government works, and the U.S. Congressman Cloud came and spoke to them. They had the fortune last night of going to a fundraiser for the governor and got to speak to the governor a little bit one-on-one and take a picture with them and just hear from other elected officials so that they get a better sense, and as they grow older, it's my hope that they can participate in government and self-governance and understand the importance of being involved. So they also every year have some type of service project aside from helping with Keep Victoria Beautiful stuff. Last year they had a food drive fundraiser and went and got to go see what the food bank was about, and they went to the fire station. Firemen showed them around the fire station, let them know what they do every day and how it operates, got a mini CPR class. So very proud of this group. This year we have 2 National Merit Scholars in it. And also last year, Emily Dickinson, she's now at Princeton, but that was she said the number one thing that Princeton wanted to know about was the Mayor's Youth Council. So these are some bright young students, they're not young really, but bright students, and look forward to them continuing their success, and thankful that they're putting in so much effort in their growth in government. Collaborative projects. So we have the LED street lighting program we started a couple years ago. This is in partnership with AEP the last couple of years. And this shows, all the little blue dots show all the lights that have been changed from the high pressure sodium to LED lights. And that's on the south portion, got covered in 22 this past year. This year we've been working on all these on the north side. And then this year we're going to finish up with Victoria Electric Co-op's lights. They just have a cluster on the north side and a little bit on the south side there. And then also we'll kick off a new photometric study this year, just to see if we have any dark spots in the city where we may need to add some lighting in the evenings. But hopefully y'all have enjoyed those LED lights. I think it makes a big difference in visibility throughout the community at night. And then I felt like I needed to talk about this. We covered the joint airport governance in last week's city council meeting. I just wanted to go through a little bit of explanation on it. So we started this in January of 2022 and went through a study looking at how the airport's managed right now and how it's governed, and asked a consultant to come in and give us any ways that we may be able to improve it. One of the things they came up with is that it should be managed by a commission, and then they wanted the city and the county to consider doing a joint sponsorship where the city and the county are both responsible for costs associated at the airport. So in January of 23, we started through the process of going through looking at the governance model as they suggested, and they gave us a template and started negotiating through the whole document. Kind of got hung up about June time frame. It was supposed to take a couple of months, and it just went about 6 months. And at that time, I asked the committee that was working on it, asked a different committee to look at it, and so we had Commissioners Sexton and Ort get together with City Council Member Lofgren and Mr. Crocker and myself, and Robbie Burge from the Port of Victoria joined us as we sat with the consultants to kind of come up with the final revision. Came up with revision 7 of so 7 revisions over those 6 months, 7 months, and thought it was something we could take to each board. Subsequent to that, we had 3 additional revisions, 8, 9, and 10, that were kind of unilaterally done. And it gave the city pause because it changed the financial dynamics of the airport. So revision 7, we're about $100,000 in the black for an airport budget. After revision 10, it moved to $1.05 million into the red for an airport budget after we'd become joint operations. And so we took that to City Council and discussed it last week, and have this chart that just shows the estimated operating losses that the City of Victoria would be responsible for over a 5-year period that this governance would be in effect. And really it was different dynamic than when we had started the process, and at the time the city's not really ready to take on an additional $600,000 plus of operating losses each year for the airport. Now, this doesn't mean the deal's dead. We're going to continue working on it and see if we can come to some type of agreement that gets it more back in line with hopefully Rev 7. Capital improvements plan, that's everything from a wish list for new hangars to refurbishing hangars to repaving parking lots. But that would be the city's half, the $5.6 million over a 5-year period. And the airport's doing a great job, and the county's doing a great job on the grant matching right now to rebuild runways and taxiways. And we continue to look forward to ways to try and help them out on some of that grant matching. Still believe that this is a worthwhile venture to pursue. The airport, as y'all know, is vitally important to our economic development. I think if we look at it from a short-term vision, this will never make sense for the city on a short-term vision. I think we got to look at it from a 15 to 20-year long play, and how it's going to change the economics of the whole region for us, really. We have to have a very strong airport to continue going forward. So, well, I'm disappointed that we didn't get there last week. The doors are still open. Everybody on City Council expressed that as well. So we'll continue working on it, and hopefully in the near future we'll be able to come to some type of agreement. Port of Victoria, very proud of the Port of Victoria. I'm very proud that they asked Sales Tax Development to partner with them. The South Track, as you might have seen in the news last week, just was awarded a grant of $20.65 million. I'll say the Sales Tax Development Group really needs to be patted on the back. They're the first to step up and say, we'll go $3 million over $1 million every year for 3 years to donate towards this track. This is also a great economic driver. Although it's not in the city of Victoria, we do know that any growth out there at the port is going to benefit the sales tax in our community. And so we want to make sure and be part of these projects, and they're doing such a fantastic job out there. And really see anybody from the port. I know there's 2 members here today. Really thank them. They're doing just a bang-up job out there, and I'm glad they let us be a partner with them. And then regionalization is another one that I'm glad that VEDC and Jonas is right here. VSTDC is an arm kind of the city of Victoria, but they're their own entity, and they contributed a lot to VEDC. And there's been a real push over the last few years to regionalize VEDC because, just like I said about the Port of Victoria, if it happens in Calhoun County or in Goliad or Edna or even DeWitt County, everybody in the region benefits. If you look at some of the other maps that VEDC has and shows you the Greater Houston Partnership area, we're kind of in our own little bubble, and I think we need to continue to focus on this regionalization aspect. But VEDC so far, besides the City of Victoria, has gotten Victoria County Navigation District, City of Edna and Port Lavaca, Calhoun County Port Authority is now a member, as is the City of Goliad's the newest member. And so I know that I was talking to Jonas before this, we're going to continue working on the surrounding counties as well and continue this push for regionalization. And VEDC is just doing a great job marketing the whole area to prospective large-scale customers or large-scale businesses to come into the region. And we got to say, keep Victoria beautiful. Everybody's noticed all the wonderful things. And, Christy, thank you so much for supporting the Aggies today, even though you're T-SIP. You're dressed in full maroon. I really appreciate it. They've just done a great job around Victoria. They continue to diversify. It's not just plants and everything else. I have a list of other items. Like, they've branched out into... just a minute, I got a couple of notes. I don't remember where I put them. But they branched out to the cleanups that we have around. They have done, they're getting into some artwork I'll show you after this. I think I have a picture of it. And they partner with Main Street Program on these as well. These 2 entities are they're kind of run by the city, but they're also nonprofits. And they do a great job of making our city look pretty. Oh, I thought I had one more slide in there. I must have missed it. It shows Laurent Street mural ought to be starting here pretty soon, and that's the underpass. And I think there's been a press release on it before, but it's just going to beautify Victoria and keep Victoria beautiful. And Main Street have gotten into a lot of arts projects as well, just bring a little bit more flavor to Victoria and showcase Victoria. So appreciate everything that both these organizations do for our city. And here's the major projects. We just opened Fire Station 1. This went through a major rehabilitation. It had started off with just replacing the roof that was kind of damaged by Harvey. And once we started looking at it, decided to upgrade the entire facility so it can also withstand a Category 3 hurricane. Before this project, everybody had to evacuate the fire station and go elsewhere, so the whole south side of Victoria wasn't served very well from fire and EMS during a storm. Now they'll be able to stay there. The fire station has converted their big bunk room into individual bedrooms. There's a community room that people in the community can rent out, can be used as a conference room. You just got to reserve it, and the fire department chose to dedicate that to Chief Vance Riley, who was our fire chief a couple of chiefs ago. And that fire truck, I was very impressed. That was right before we did the opening, and one of the operators got it turned sideways in there with one try. I was very impressed. And then we have a new senior housing coming in on John Stockbauer. It's called the Victorian. And the Victorian's going to be a 68-unit senior housing, which is, I don't know why they call it 55 and older. I think that's a little too young for senior citizens. But they're going to have 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom, 2 bath apartments. The 1 bedrooms are going to go from $350 to $1,000. It's going to be income based, and the 2 bedroom, 2 bath are from $400 to about $1,300, and it's all income based. This is the same group, Realtex, that's built the Enchanted Gardens over on Ben Jordan. So we're looking forward to that starting in the spring and opening, I'm hoping early 2025. This is, we're almost complete with our dog park. I know it's been going on for a while. Phase 1 is complete. You can drive by it. It's in front of the pump house. We're finishing up phase 2, which will add some entrance signage to it. And on that, we'll have a plaque dedicated, recognizing Miss Izzy Drain, who was the Girl Scout that had really envisioned this and working on it for her project before she passed away. And so we'll recognize her. I think it's very important to do that. She put a lot of effort into it and was very passionate about it. But we look forward to seeing that open here late this fall. And then the duck pond, almost finished. And this is still the rendering. I have a little video that I'm going to show you. And the video doesn't include Mr. Etienne canoeing on it like this rendering does. But behind Mr. Etienne's canoe, there's the gazebo, and in front of it's the fishing pier that we'll have. And the 2 center white parts are the fountains that are operating right now. This just shows the extent of it. There's a lot of digging out that they had to do. And then Mr. Lisak had helped design what I brought it up, they didn't know what it meant, but some FADs, fishing attractant devices there in the middle. You see the brush piles. And there's a walkway all the way around the duck pond. Mr. Lisak's been working with Texas Parks and Wildlife Department to get the right fish in here. And so they'll start stocking it with fish. You can see the gazebo, that'll be out for, you can rent that. And then in the future, we'll be taking an old cart barn, we're hoping, and converting that into rental spaces as well on the other side of the pond. So it should be a great attraction. I know it's been missed for many years, and there's many kids that haven't gotten to enjoy it, and we look forward to getting them back out there and really taking advantage of that duck pond in the Riverside Park area. This is the Ben Wilson Corridor. This is the longest running project we have in the city of Victoria. It's in conjunction with UHV. We started this in 2015. Yeah, I said that right. 2015 this thing started, and it's nearing completion. It should finish in early 2024. You can see in the center there, that's the frame for the big clock tower that they're going to have. It's going to be a really fantastic looking street, and the landscaping as it matures is going to really look beautiful as you go down that road. But hopefully everybody, thank you for your patience, and as it took a while to get this thing complete, but it's going to be a really, really nice project, and appreciate UHV's work on it. De Leon Plaza. This is the updated rendering of it, just some small little changes on it, but we've seen this before. But the construction has started now, and you can see on the bottom picture there the fountain that's going to be incorporated. It's different than it was how it originally envisioned. It was going to be bubbling out of the ground, but that just proved a little bit too costly for us. But we're still going to create a water feature where you can sit around it and some bubblers in that. And then you can see the statues in front of the Six Flags of Texas, the Martin de Leon, Patricia de la Garza statues. And we also have a quick little video of them constructing this. This is where they're taking away the parking spots that I've heard about. But you can see they really have to dig down deep and put in some utilities. As you drive by there now, you'll start seeing the restroom building is coming up out of the ground. They're laying the block for it, and they're really getting to work on the foundation for that stage a lot and finishing up the underground utilities. But it should all be ready in time for celebration for our bicentennial in April. Oh, and here's the, as part of the mural that I was talking about earlier, this is going to go on the Laurent Street underpass. It's a lot of color to be added to it. It should be a very, very nice addition. It pays a lot to the heritage of Victoria, And I know a lot of work went into the design, and I'm very, very happy with it and really excited for it to get done. So I thank KVB and Main Street for that right there. And here's the Public Safety Headquarters building. We've shown a couple of renderings of this. We have a little bit longer video to show you. This is kind of a fly through of some of the spaces. This is sitting at Airline in Maine, and that's looking back up north on Maine. It starts from Sheriff Kubota side to, this will be the municipal court building side and its own entrance on the left of the building, and the main lobby entrance will be in the middle. That is not going to be a stationary bike in the front where you can just pedal away on. But we will have some, and you'll see in this, some exercise facilities for the personnel that work in this building, our police and fire administration. They'll have secured parking in the rear for employees. There's that guy just pedaling in place. But this is a walk into the lobby. It'll be a generous lobby. The plan is to display our antique fire truck in there. It'll be on permanent display. There'll be a dedication wall of some type above the stairway. People can take care of their business back there in the corner, get public records. Off to the right here will be another community room that people will be able to reserve. It can also be used for training classes if needed for the police and fire. But it's a generous sized room and just another meeting space for community members as well. And this is walking into the municipal court lobby. I know sometimes it takes a little while to take care of your business there, so there will be chairs available and just kind of sit down and have a nice chat, get your business taken care of. That's the courtroom. And then this is the back of the building. It'll be kind of a outdoor area, so if employees want to gather outside and maybe cook a lunch out there, looks like with the barbecue pit. And I watched this video and I noticed it's very odd. Public Safety Headquarters building, and there's not a uniformed officer in sight. This is kind of a rendering of the workout facility that we'll do. It's the 911 dispatch area. And then just the overview again. Almost 70,000 square feet of building. It's something we hope that the community can be proud of. And I see I got about 10 minutes, I'm being told. I want to take a couple of questions if possible. This is finalized, the bicentennial. Hopefully everybody knows by now that we'll be celebrating our bicentennial next year. It will be a very special time. For the fourth time, I bugged the governor last night and told him to be here, please. April 13th is the big date I would like y'all to put on y'all's calendar. That day, we're going to have an all-day event. We're going to kick off the day on April 13th, and that's when the document was actually signed. That's why we chose that date, and it happens to fall on a Saturday. We couldn't have gotten much luckier. But we're going to start it off with a community event, and this is just a community project. That's what we're calling it right now, but it's a volunteer opportunity across the community to help our neighbors that are in need. And we're hoping for a big turnout for this event. If you know anything about A&M, it's called the big event there, and a lot of campuses have something similar to that. We're just going to get as many volunteers as possible, spread out throughout the community, and help our neighbors, because I really believe that's the type of community we have. Following that, later in the day will be an unveiling of the statues of Martín de León and Patricia de la Garza. These have been worked on now for a year, and I think they're going to get an update on them on Thursday. But they're really tight wraps on all of this, so I can't wait to see the final product. And they, like I said, they will sit in front of Six Flags of Texas. They're at De Leon Plaza, and they'll be there permanently. And then that evening, I have a group of volunteers that have been working on a bicentennial ball. The city council appointed members to this committee, and it'll be a ticketed event where we'll have local entertainment options. So I'm hoping that we'll have Ballet Folklorico as one of them over there, because they're always great to see. But we're going to feature local artists and performances and have a nice dinner and celebrate all our great heritage and 200 years of it. Throughout the year, you know, there's many other organizations this next year that's also celebrating a great milestone. DTAR, I think, will be 100, hoping to partner with them. Victoria Symphony just kicked off their 50th season. and there will be events in the spring that coincide with some of that stuff. Also next year in October, we're going to be reimagining the Boot Fests. We don't have an official name for it, but it will be the first week in October, and hopefully we'll carry that on and celebrate our heritage in that manner going forward, but kick it off with the big bicentennial. And you can see we have these on the table as well. These are just a small list of everything that's going on. St. Mary's also, their parish also celebrates 200 years as well, so got a lot to celebrate in Victoria next year, and very, very excited to do so. So with that, I'm going to conclude, and are there any questions? I probably have time for just like one or two. Oh, awesome. Well, great. I appreciate y'all's attention today, and thank you to John Welder for the catering. It was very good, and if y'all ever have any questions, y'all know to reach us all on email or by phone, and I guess that concludes it.